Greetings to everyone who is blessed to discover this live. I want to believe that the people who will gravitate towards the things that will be said in this live are the people who've been seeking for answers in their life because they have so many questions. That's the reason why the subject of fear is very important for discussion, because in this world, you're either under the energy of fear or the energy of love. And very, 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 very few people are influenced by the energy of love, while more people are influenced by the energy of fear. As a matter of fact, that is what has been used to control the masses. There will be no wars if there's no energy of fear. There will be no poverty. There will be no lack. There will be no scarcity if there isn't the energy of fear. But the energy of fear is what will balance the energy of love. When you understand the law of polarity, the law of opposite, everything has its polar opposite. So there will always be people in our society who live their lives based on fear. And they themselves do not even realize it. That's how damaging fear is. That's how powerful fear is. Fear could blind you in such a way that the light can be right before your eyes and you cannot see the light. You're still seeing darkness because of fear. If you ever read Plato, Allegory of the Cave, you will see what fear will do to people. Where they've been kept in a certain place for a certain length of time, and they develop a certain perception, a certain way of belief. They build a certain belief system, and they create a paradigm, and they dwell just in a box, in a little cave, and they never go beyond the cave. That's how most people live their lives. Many people never go beyond this body. Many people never go beyond their religion and their political parties. Because why? They're afraid of the unknown. And because most people are afraid of the unknown, you have to use the unknown to keep them afraid. And that is why fear have been so successful in this war to control the masses. And I have the receipt to prove what I am saying. Because anyone who had the experience of what took place in 2020 to 2022, you would know the reason why most people took the inoculation. You would know what was their conversation. You would know where they were dwelling, psychologically speaking. You would know that they had fear of poverty. They had fear of being homeless. They had fear of being jobless. They have fear of not living up to the Joneses, or like the Joneses. They had all these fears and trauma in their system. And it took an event like 2020 to 2022 to really display what was going on in secret. What was going on in people's mind. To display how people normally think and what people truly believe. And shockingly enough, people who claim to have so much faith in God on the outside and who believe someone is going to save them and deliver them, these were the people who are willing to give their bodies to be experimented upon because of what? Fear. There was so much dwelling in survival mode, thinking about where the next meal is going to come from, where the next pair of shoes is going to come from, where the next shirt on the back or dress on the body is going to come from. In so much that the fear crippled logical thinking. In so much that the fear remove all of their mental faculties and remove the power to really think and articulate things in a higher way than the animals that only think about what they can see and taste and touch and smell and what they could see because of what? Fear. So we are living in a world where 1% control the masses because they understand the power of fear and they understand the power of love. And they know that you cannot have fear while loving and believing in yourself. You cannot have fear while embracing in yourself. So in order to cultivate that fear in you, they make you believe that there's some power or some entity outside of you that is greater than life itself. But if you know that there's nothing that is greater than life itself, and that consciousness is the key, consciousness is the only reality there is, you will hold to consciousness knowing that nothing can happen outside of a consciousness. For there could never be a hell outside of your consciousness or your awareness. And for example, this morning, when I came, okay, the gate up this side is locked. Okay, so there's no security up this gate. So I had to come to the other gate, okay? And at the other gate of this beautiful place here, there is a church. And the area is filled with so much vehicles, I could have just barely get a park. Okay, because that was my whole mindset. My whole thing was dwelling on park. Where are you gonna get to park my vehicle so I could come here, okay, and have this time with you here in nature. And there's this massive church there, and you know they take up all the parking space in the road. Okay, so I pull aside there because there was one parking right there, right next to the gate. So I know nothing could park behind of me, and so I could come out because that's the entrance. That's one of the entrance to the church. Okay, and I'm right there. Okay, and the amount of people that is there, if we be honest, if we be true, everyone never thought that there is a hell and there's a devil and there's some punishment that you're going to receive from some God who loves you, yet he wants to punish you. And this same God tells you that you must forgive all of your enemies, yet he cannot forgive his enemy. He have an enemy called the devil. He have an enemy called Lucifer, called Satan, called many different names. And he so much cannot forgive his enemy that he built a place specifically to put his enemy. And those who do not side with him, to worship and bow down to him, he have that place for them too. Yet he's loving, and he loves you, and he wants to save you. Yet he's using fear to control you. Because I'm telling you, all those people in that church that I'm speaking about right now, where I had to park my vehicle, all the people that is there, that gather right there right now, in their subconscious mind, there is an escape place for them to escape this body without seeing death. That's what they're telling themselves. Do you realize how delusional you have to become to believe that you're going to leave this planet alive? And you know the reason why I could tell you what I am telling you? Because I die while being here on this planet, yet I live to tell this story. And many will say, blasphemy. Yet they believe that, literally speaking, a man after 3 days came out of the grave because he had special powers. And he leave this earth and enter the bodies of those who would accept him and believe in him. Yet they can't replicate the same work. They can't do the same thing. Please, someone, help me make that make sense. Please, someone help me to make that make sense. Fear is so powerful that fear could make you believe that a man was crucified and died on a cross on a Friday. And they commemorate the Friday every year and they call it Good Friday. He died on Good Friday. And he rose on a Sunday and they call it 3 days and 3 nights. Someone please help me make that make sense. I have a channel named that, by that name too. Make it make sense. I will definitely encourage you to check it out. That's my other channel. Make it make sense. Please, somebody make that make sense. Fear can blind you so much that you would believe that a man take literal bread, 5 loaves. This man was so powerful. This man that had blonde hair and blue eyes. This man who doesn't really look like you. He wasn't a black man. He was a different man. He was any other kind of man except a black man, right? Okay, this man, this special man, this unique man. And he was so powerful. He could feed 5,000 people, breaking literal fish and literal bread. Yet no one who believes and follows this man could replicate this man. Make that make sense. Woo! Make it make sense for me, please. Find me a farmer that can plant pumpkin and reap watermelon. Please. Find me a man, a farmer in Jerusalem. Find me a farmer in Israel, in Ashkelon. Find me a farmer, any part of the world, who can plant oranges and reap lime. Who can plant pumpkin and reap watermelon. Show me that man who can do that. Please, somebody. Show me how a man could turn water into wine, literal water. If there was a literal man, this man could take literal water and turn literal water into wine. And you telling me this man have all this power, and this man say if he go away, the people who believe in him and who bow down to him and worship him, he will grant them that same power. And there are millions of people around the world who accept this man, call on this man daily. And this man can't give them that power to turn literal water into wine. Somebody please make it make sense for me. If the law of reproduction is that every seed and every species must and will always reproduce after its own kind, could you plant coconut and reap watermelon? Could a sheep bring a goat into this wall? Can a goat bring a sheep into this wall? I've never seen it happen. Which tells me there are certain things on this planet that cannot be changed. Which means there are certain laws that cannot be changed. It means there are certain things that govern this planet that cannot be changed. Since I know myself existing on this planet, there have been night and day. There have been light and darkness. There have been good thoughts and negative thoughts, destructive thoughts and uplifting thoughts. And you're telling me that there's a destructive entity outside of me? And you're telling me that there's a creative and uplifting entity outside of me? When all that I'm saying and all I will ever do, it is taking place in consciousness. Do you realize if I'm not conscious, it means that I'm unconscious? And when you fall asleep every night, there's a part of you that lives. Then who is that Jima inside of you? Well, fear could blind you in so much that you do not realize that the Jima in you is omnipotent and omniscient and omnipresent. The Jima in you don't sleep. And the Jima in you is you because this is a dream. And whatever you choose to dream is what you will create. So if you create a wall of doubt and fear and guilt and shame and religion and politics, and you allow these things to govern you, and you conform, then fear must rule your life. And that is what is happening to the masses. COVID prove it. Doubt me. I'm calling on someone to doubt me, to tell me that COVID didn't prove that the church is run by fear. And that religion is all based on fear. I want someone to tell me what is more uplifting. For me to say that God is love and will always be love, than to say that you must fear God and turn around and tell you that fear means love. You have to be delusional and dumb to believe that kind of fear mean love, and they tell you it mean reverential fear. They tell you must fear God, but God says, fear not, it is I. It is I and I. The I in you is telling you that it is the I. That you are the I and the I is you. So he said, fear not. It is I. And many people read it and think it is a special, unique man 1,000 years ago. He's saying that, and they could say it for that man. You see what fear does do? Fear couldn't make you believe that you could say, I am. And you can turn around and say that you're not saying I am for yourself. You're saying I am for a Messiah. You're saying I am for one who existed 1,000 years ago. As a matter of fact, about 2,000 years ago. Fear could make you believe that. That's how crippling fear is. But the very book tells you that love, perfect love, it will cast out what? All doubt and all fear. Well, the people who's able to cast out their fear and their doubt, they wouldn't be easily controlled. These are the people they will call rebels. These are the people they will call blasphemous. These are the people they will call troublemakers. These are the people who would vibrate outside of the box, who would think outside of the box, who would know that truly there's a matrix. And they're thinking outside of the matrix because they were ready to be awakened out of the matrix. These are the people who ask these questions and ask for answers and say the same thing that I'm saying, like, make it make sense. How is it no man on this planet could break from 2 fishes and 5 loaves and feed 5,000 people or 7,000 people? It just this morning while I was driving, I saw this van, this church van, picking up people to carry them to church. And I was saying, God, they're always telling you Jesus coming soon. Yet the church is buying new vans, they're buying jets, they're buying different things to get more people, because more people is more business. Okay? And nothing is wrong with that, because life itself is a business. An inhalation and an exhalation is an exchange. So everything is basically based on a business. But when you want to deny that it's a business, that is, you want to deny existence, but you want to live. That is the same kind of people who want a resurrection, but they don't want no death. They want a resurrection, but they don't want no death. But when you look around, you realize unless a corn of wheat fall in the ground and dies, it abides alone. But if it dies, it brings forth much fruit. When a man dies on this earth while he liveth, and he experience the true born again experience, because he understands that there's a birth that takes place within. When he experiences that birth, it breaks all doubt and all fear. Even those that pass down from generation to generation, he breaks the curse. But if you're looking on the outside for someone to come and break the curse for you, you will never break the curse. Because you are dwelling in fear in so much that you can't see yourself. You get blinded from your own self. Yet the voice is saying to you, fear not, it is I. And you think you could say I for someone else, because you think you could say I am for someone else. So my brother, my sisters, in short, I'm saying religion has been very, very, very successful in controlling the masses. The school system has been very successful in controlling the masses. The political system has been very successful in controlling the masses. But there must be balance. So I'm here to release some people, okay, from the matrix, from the prison, while there are people who are here to put you in prison. So when you really understand the thing, you understand balance. So what I'm doing, I'm not here to condemn the system. I'm not here saying to stop no system. I'm here to fulfill. Because there are people who are on the same vibration and frequency like me, and they're seeking for answers. And there must be a man coming to bring the answer to help you. Because the deep is calling to the deep, and then the deep responds. Okay? So it's just basically dwelling on certain levels of vibration and frequency. Like, for example, when I decided was to leave my job way back in, I think, 2008, okay, at the post office, many of my co-workers used to say, maybe I have something to fall back on and so on, and because I wouldn't stand for nonsense. I would not allow anyone to control me by fear. That you cannot use money to control me because it would be fair. Okay, because it means I would be afraid, being fearful that I might be homeless, I might be jobless, I might starve, all of these things. But when you really believe in yourself, you can't be starved. You know the basic needs in this life, food, clothing, and shelter. You understand how the mind works. Once you understand how the mind works, you understand how powerful you are. You realize those are the main things you really need in this life. And you'll be able to acquire these things if you learn to love yourself and believe in yourself and to follow your intuition and the things that you love in life. For example, when I leave working at the post office as a postman and people say, what are you doing now? I say, I'm doing a little bit of fitness and things. They say, what? Fitness? You crazy? You leave your job, you do fitness? What kind of money you could make from fitness? Which one making more money? You see, they measure themselves based on money. They measure themselves based on the thing on the outside, and that's what fear does to you. Because fear is putting you in a mindset of competition. Fear is putting you in a mindset of a dog-eat-dog wall. Fear is putting you in a mindset of a competitive wall. Fear is putting in a mindset where you feel that there is not enough to go around. So you have to compete. Fear is putting you in a place that you do anything because you're looking for identity and you think those things are going to give you identity. So you sell your soul to Hollywood. You sell your soul to the music industry. You do anything. You sell your soul to the pornography industry. You can do anything. And then when you get older in life and you understand how important it is to really love and believe in yourself and embrace yourself and really trust yourself and so on, you would realize those who are in place to put laws upon you, to keep you a certain way, they have to love and believe in themselves to get whatever they would have gotten in this world, whether through they went to the best schools, whether, you know, certain thing was passed down to them and so on. So it's like a chain reaction. So it's like thing passed down from generation to generation. So if you come from a generation that was kept under fair, okay, and they cultivate a mindset of lack and scarcity and mediocrity and being superficial, and they are religious and superstitious mentality and the judgmental and they carry around a lot of condemnation, and they believe anyone who doesn't think like them or believe like them, they're going to hell, they're going to burn in a devil's hell, they're evil. They believe, you know, there's some entity on the outside called the devil or Satan or Lucifer, and you're worshiping that. And they believe all of these foolishness, and they believe other people pagan, and they believe that they're right and someone is wrong, and they do not know that the wrong is to live the right, and the right is to live, is to show the wrong. Okay? In other words, they do not understand the yin and the yang. They do not understand the law of polarity. And a lot of what I've been saying is based on a polarity, because I'm showing you the polarity between fear and love. Fear is going to keep you in poverty. Love is going to break that. So I'm basically telling you to break the course. Break the programming that's been passing down from generation to generation. Especially if you are a melanated man or melanated woman. Because they make sure they set up in the school system the religious system. So at mornings you have to say prayers to some entity on the outside. In the afternoon you have to do the same thing. And then in the evening you have to do the same thing. They make sure they penetrate your subconscious mind as a child to use religion to keep you under the energy of fear. But my brother and my sisters, when you start to balance love and fear, and you start to accept the fact that as long as you are on this planet and having this human experience, you'll experience fear, and you'll experience love, you'll experience doubt, you'll experience all of these things. And you start to accept the fact that it's just a part of you. It's just the polar opposite of everything. And you start to put that together with the rest of nature. And you start to see the polar opposite to everything. You would realize that even if a sheep and a goat, they come under the category of animals, they don't have the same diet and they don't mate. You'd realize that you don't put your mindset with other people who have a certain mindset, because you're not going to get the result that you're looking for, because you're going to be unequally yoked. And so religion make you believe that if you do not have the same kind of religious mindset that they pass down to you, that you're going to be unequally yoked. And what they're doing there, they're shutting down your mind from being open, and they keep you one-track minded. And how are they successful to do that? They have planted a seed of fear in your mind. So it's a mind game. So if you don't understand the mind game of religion, you become religious instead of becoming conscious and aware. If you will understand the game of intellectualism versus experience, you will hold to intellect all your life, thinking that you know, and in realize is the things that you experience. That is what the things that you know. You are conscious of it. It happens in your consciousness. But for you to live your life, believing in something that you have never seen happen. You have never seen a woman bring forth a child in this world without any human intervention. It can't happen. And it has never happened. And it will never happen. There will always be a birth that brings a baby on the outside and a birth that brings a baby on the inside. But there will never, ever, ever, ever be a woman in this world who would give birth without any human intervention. Can never happen and has never happened. So fear could blind you, psychologically speaking, in such a way that you don't think, you don't exercise your mind. You live and dwell in the monkey mind, the chattering mind. You're not exercising your mental capacity. You're not expanding your mental capacity. You just hold on to secular Christianity or whatever religion that have been passed down to your ancestors that were before you. And you're so lazy in your mind, you fail to think outside of the box. That's why you've been crippled by fear. And that is how society is run. That is why the masses have been controlled by fear. And so they set up systems to keep you under fear. When the police is supposed to be protecting you, they could bring fear upon you, terror upon you. The same with the armed forces. That is why you are the one who's responsible to protect you. How are you going to protect you? You protect your mind, which is the greatest asset. And you do not allow it to be infiltrated. Learn to think for yourself when you reach a certain age. Even the book of mind science, the Bible, the big magic book that most people don't know. It tells you how to live a life as a winner and how to live a life as a loser. And it tells you that all of us been given the same power. It tells you that all of us have been called virgins. You that all of us have the potential to activate and reap the oil, to ignite our lamps, to live a life that is cultivating, to live a life that is producing, to live a life that is excelling and expanding. But fear can make you live a life being so dependent that men and women will convince you that tourism in a country is more important than agriculture. That's what religion can do. Because why? It's based on fear. Fear could put you in a place that you think it is love. Like for example, when you become religious and superstitious, you're willing to forgive in so much that you could be treated in a way that is inhumane. You could be treated in a way where you've been laughed at. You could be treated in a way to make you think that you are inferior. Yet, because of the power of fear through religion, it blind you from seeing what is happening to you. That is why there's so many religious, superstitious people going to church every Saturday and every Sunday. And when people who have more knowledge than you and who love themselves more than you love yourself, they will use the same religious system, the church system. They use quote from the Bible. They use Christ. They use Jesus. They use all of this terminology to walk all over you, to trick you, to play with your mind, to make a fool out of you. I could speak about some recent things that have been happening all on the internet. And all these people with the dark agenda, they're using religious terminologies and religious terms, being biased, being one-sided, knowing the power of fear. They go back to your weak spot by talking about Christ and Jesus and Christianity and the church. Because why? It's been used very successfully to keep you in a subservient way, in an obedient way, make you more of an obedient slave. There's nothing new under the sun. Thing is just shifting and changing direction. That's all. The same thing. It's like a metamorphosis of the same thing, always taking place over and over. That's the same how generational curses and all of these things been passed down. Yet, people are still holding on because of what? Doubt and fear. I know a man in my country, all his life, he used to have a television program. And the way how this man would speak about the Bible and speak about Jesus, I remember one time I met him and I asked him if Jesus used to have erection like me. He said, oh yes, he was totally man. Yeah, totally God. And if you ask the same man, if he's totally God and totally man, he would tell you no, he's total man, but he's not total God. And just recently, I met two Catholic priests, okay, from the Catholic Church. They normally go around and give all, the old people who can't move, even on the bed. They're going to give them a communion, still walking in them. Even a sick bed, these people find you and walk on you. They're harvesting your soul and you don't even know it. Okay? And I asked them the same question. And one of them said to me that Jesus was totally divine and totally human. So I asked he the same question. If he is totally divine and he's totally human. And he said, no, he's human, but he's not divine. And I asked him, if he show he's not just having a human experience and he's thinking that he's human, but he's actually divine. He said, no, only that particular one has been divine and yet human. Yet he's touched with all of your infirmities, because I asked him that, because I say, it is stated in the Bible that he's been touched with all of your infirmities. So how could he be touched with all of my infirmities if I and him are not one and the same? Let me show you something else again. It is stated, I think, is in Matthew chapter 4, that this man was taken up in a high mountain by himself alone. Yet, he encountered the devil. But if he's alone, and he's in flesh, and he encountered the devil, yet is he alone. Where did he encounter the devil? It have to be inside. Inside where? Inside his mind. And how could they get the story to write the story? If this man himself didn't tell the story. If you yourself do not tell the story of your mind and the experiences that you have in your mind, who else is going to tell the story? If you are not the one who have to face your devil, as you start to think higher, and you start to vibrate higher, and you start to understand the battle taking place in the mind, if you do not realize that, you're always thinking that there's some enemy on the outside. You're always thinking there's some devil on the outside. And the devil said, I will give you all of these things. All the things that I could see, you could taste, you could touch, you could smell. All the things in the physical. I would give you the cat before the horse. Which means, you think you've been empowered when you've been disempowered. Because you need the horse to carry the cat. The cat can't really carry the horse. Okay? It hasn't been built for that. So, you're thinking in a backward way, acting in a backward way, and living life in a backward way. And it's all through fear. This is how fear works. So my brother and my sisters, do not have fear for your life. Or what you should eat, what you should drink, what you should wear. When you say don't take none of these things with you, not even shoes on your feet, it's not literal. There's no preacher going to travel without no shoes on their feet and no wallet and none of these things. As a matter of fact, they were a private jet to travel. Ask Copeland, Kenneth, and Creflo and those fellas in Africa and so on. I am telling you, the business of fear is good business. It's $1 trillion business. Ignorance of self, the biggest business on this planet. Okay? And that is why they have to use fear to control the masses. Because it's not everyone who's ready to understand business as usual. This is just business as usual. Me being here and me giving and me sharing, I work with a principle. Okay? It's divine. It's infinite. You give. It's definitely going to come back to you. Okay? And I do not have to tell you that there's someone who's going to hurt you or curse you if you don't give. Because they convince you through fear that if you do not take 1/10 of what you're working for every month and make sure that the pastor live sumptuously, he and his family, so his children could go to the best schools, best universities, and you could put his wife up on a pedestal, call her first lady, treat them with honor, and do things to them that you would never do to yourself. They convince you to do that and to live like that out of fear. Do you realize if there's no hell and no devil and no fear used, that most people wouldn't attach themselves to these institutions? And that is why some people do not like people like Joel Osteen and so on, as he more talk about God's love more than he talk about hell and all of these things. So he's kind of messing up business in a way for some people. And those who speak about prosperity They brand them because they're getting off a little bit too much off of the fear. But because the fear already done cultivated in the subconscious mind from a young child, okay, it's still there. But if we could preach to you how to better yourself, it will work also. It's all part of the business. It's all a part of how they play the game. So my brother, my sisters, what I'm really saying to you in a nutshell, because I'm going to come to a close here, okay, is that your mind is the greatest possession. Therefore, don't let anyone possess your mind with fear. Anytime your mind is possessed with fear, you're possessed by the devil. Let me run that again. Anytime your mind is possessed by fear, you're possessed by the devil. So you know, from a child, they just possess you. The devil possess you from a child. Unless you have parents or right kind of people around you to show you how the game has been played. Because they make sure they put it in the school system. So the devil control most people. And the devil is the negative self. So most people are dwelling in the negative self, the fearful, limited self, instead of the higher self. Because they fail to realize the law of polarity. They fail to realize that God and the devil is the one and same. They fail to realize that the shilling or the coin has a head and a tail, but it's still the same one coin. They fail to realize that there's only one power. And you can shift the power so, I can shift the power so. You can use the power to hurt, you can use the power to heal. That's why I want to use the power to heal you today. To say, what have you to fear when death is inevitable? Whether you die now or I die tomorrow, same death. The only people who think they're going to leave here without death is the delusional ones who think they're going to flip out of their body and they're going to rapture. I already rapture based on what they call in rapture. So I have the power and the authority to speak. Because I'm telling you, the death, burial, and resurrection, and the birth, the virgin birth, is the same one event. And when it happens, you'll understand why it is stated in the Bible that you shall change from mortal to immortality in a twinkling of an eye. I am telling you, when the eye open in you, that pineal gland, the place where you're going to see God face to face, when it opens, it is because your IQ gone to another level and you come back, you come into a place of remembrance. And doesn't matter what is happening to you, you know that you are the cause. Everything that happened in my life, I am the cause. So whether I have 1 million subscribers, I have less than that. Or whether I have 50,000, I have 20-something thousand, I'm still gonna do what I am doing. And I will never play the part of a victim. Because why? I know I am the cause of everything, and there's always the polar opposite of everything. And I know that I am controlled by the energy of love. And the reason why I'm controlled by the energy of love, it is because I realize that love is what will balance my doubts and my fears. Because it's part of me. And so you will live the rest of your life and you will never, ever overcome negative thinking. Because you're not supposed to try to stop negative thinking. You have to try to understand your negative thoughts, where they're coming from. You have to learn to understand there's outgoing thoughts and there's incoming thoughts. You have to learn to understand that we are all connected. You have to learn to understand there's one divine mind. You have to understand there are many, many, many minds, but the many, many, many minds is still the one mind, and this one mind has its polarity. It has the dark place and it has the place of light. It has the place of ignorance and folly, and it has the place of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So, my brother, my sisters, doesn't matter what has been done in your life to bring fear. And fear is a state of mind. Just like poverty is a state of mind. Everything is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. So, like, for example, right? Let's say you want to accomplish something in life and you're getting the opposite result. Instead of you be discouraged and you feel like everything working against you, instead of you thinking that way, you have the power to change it. That's the reason why you're told that the poor, must say that he's rich. Never allow yourself to measure your success based on materialistic things that you have to go and leave here, that you can't even take with you. Forget about the fame, forget about the popularity, forget about the millions and the billions, because they are created and they are the creation. But when you understand that you are the creator and you are the power, you will live a more happy and fulfilled life on this planet, because you will understand everything has levels to it. So what might be one man's pocket change might be another man's riches. Because, for example, to some men, $1 million is like a pocket change, while to another man in another land, $1 million means a lot. While on the other hand, in another country where money is being devalued, like for example, I think in Nigeria they use Nairos. You can have millions and you're broke, you're still broke and poor. In Jamaica, the same thing, the money been devalued. Trinidad, Guyana, these places, the money have been devalued. Well, if money could be devalued and you're using money to measure yourself, then you'll be devalued when the money devalue. But when you understand that you are the real value and you are the real essence and you are the creator and you have the power, then you would never allow the fear or the lack of anything in this world to hurt you so bad. Yes, you might have a certain feeling, but you will know that you can't dwell on that feeling. And so based on the results you might see in your life, you can't deny the way how you will feel. But you have to strengthen yourself and know that you are the prize. That's what I'm saying. You are the prize. Okay? So, my brother, my sisters, as I come to a close here, okay, in this lecture, okay, because I'm gonna just go through some of the comments. As I come to a close with this lecture, the point I'm getting across to you is that you have to accept the fact that life is based on love and fair. And you must never go to no extreme. Religion will carry to one extreme. Politics will carry to one extreme. Education will carry to one extreme. Every system that has been set up here is to carry to one extreme. But balance is what you need. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The masses have been controlled by fear. They allow fear to carry them to a certain extreme. In so much that there are people who actually believe that there could be light, and no night. And there are people who believe that there could be night, and no day. By their actions and by their belief system. But they will doubt you. Okay? So let me go to the comment and read some of the comments here. And I really want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. It's always a joy and a pleasure. Okay? It doesn't matter where in the world you're living, it's only fear they could use to control you. Okay? Once you get over that fear, you start to control your life for yourself. Hello, and good morning. Greetings to you also. Okay? Someone says he's crazy for sure. You know that when people start calling you crazy, you're on the right track. Okay, so thank you very much for that comment. Okay, it means you're thinking outside the box. Okay. Greetings to you in Canada. Someone says fear is truly a deadly thing. That's why you keep people in a state of being a living dead on the planet. And it's been used very successful and continue to be successful. Okay. And the biggest thing you could be fearful about is death, and you're gonna die. Someone says quit weed, dude. Now, if someone is telling you to quit weed, when you start to speak wisdom, it means that there's something in the weed that they don't want you to know about. Do you know that there are millions of people who normally travel, go to South America and many other countries around the world for psychedelic because they want to get an experience because of the DMT inside of the psychedelic like ayahuasca. So people who do not understand like psychedelics and understand these things, they would use terminology like that to like shame you and make you feel a certain way, to make you believe that you have to be under the influence of something to speak the truth. Okay? So he say quit weed. Okay? So you must notice something. The law enforcement system is set up, and I've all been taught a certain way to think about people who consume things like cannabis and so on, right? And then the religious people who goes to church, okay, because it's the same. They've been programmed to think that way too. Yet the politicians who are giving license these days, okay, for certain things like weed and all of these things to be used, whether medicinally, whichever way, because for example in Holland and those places, okay, even here in my country, okay, there's certain places you can just carry a card and you can buy your weed and so on, okay? That's what that person they probably doesn't know, okay? People can do that. Yet you can be put in prison still for it if you grow certain amount in your backyard, if you grow certain amount without their permission and so on and all of these things. Okay, yet these same people with their religious beliefs, they will tell you that God give you leaders to lead you. And these leaders are the ones who are legalizing the same weed. They want to crucify you and judge you and to try to make you feel a certain way. The same thing with the alcohol, the same thing with the pornography industry, the same thing with everything. So you see how they're contradicting their life because why? They're living in fear, and they live in a life of fear. And they think we're trying to take away their fear. I'm not trying to take away your fear. I'm just trying to empower those who would listen to me. And those who knows that fear is a part of their life. But they know how to balance it. Okay. Be sure to like, okay, this live, because we definitely want to get this channel up to 25K. I mean, we know it should have done gone past that long time, but it is what it is. I'm still gonna do whatever I've been called to do. Because, for example, when I started YouTube, I didn't know anything about YouTube monetization. I didn't know anything about AdSense and so on. And that is what gave me joy and pleasure to speak my mind and to be clear and to be honest and to be true in spite of whatever consequence there might be. Okay, I am free. It made me feel good because I didn't start this because of money. I didn't start this because I wanted views. I didn't start YouTube because I had any knowledge about YouTube. I had absolutely no knowledge about YouTube. It took me an entire year trying to set up YouTube, a whole year. I didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to do. I was trying. Didn't have anybody to go and ask and so on. And we never gave up. Okay, so that is why it's important that people will come on and they will criticize and so on, and we need these kind of people. Okay. Someone said Jesus has not been seen in Gaza or Ukraine. No, it can't be seen in those places. Okay. You see, people will only take the part they want, and the part that they don't want, they would leave it. It will always be like that. Okay, but remember, as I said, balance is important. We need people to call on Jesus too. Okay, that's why I'm not against people who call on Jesus, people who believe in Jesus. We need you. We need obedient slaves. But you can't want everybody to be obedient. Okay, so the rebels are needed too. Okay. Someone says free Palestine. Not just Palestine. Everyone needs to be free. Okay, because for example, when you say free this country or free that country, you're leaving out the entire world. Everybody needs to be free. Because most people think when you're incarcerated and so on, okay, that you're not free. But it's when you've been incarcerated here, that's the worst prison there could be. I've seen people who went into prison, especially a lot of black men who went into prison. And it is while they were in prison, they learned to read books. When they were in prison, they learned to read books. Is when they were in prison, they really sit down and listen to someone. Okay. I remember a man who was in prison, he listened to Reverend Ike. And because of that, he used his mind power to set himself free. A man the name P.D. Green, I think something like that. He was his name. I think it was P.D. Green. Okay. He listened to Reverend Ike teaching the Bible from the esoteric side. Just like how I am teaching from the esoteric. Okay. And teaching from the metaphysical side. And I never join nothing. And I never read from books or anything. Something that's just in my DNA. And this man P.D. Green listened to Reverend Ike and he took himself out of prison using his mind. So, someone said Jesus was not seen handing out life jackets on the night the Titanic sank. No. And the night the Titanic sank, if you couldn't swim, you're a dead man. Okay. Someone said turn you into a human being. Yeah, they turn you into a human being when it's just a human experience and a human experience you're getting. They say we shall live by faith and not by sight. Do you realize to live by faith mean that you must not live in fear? To live by faith is for you to trust the unseen. And if you have to trust the unseen, you can't be fearful of the unseen. Most people are fearful of the unseen. And that's why fear is keeping you trapped in this body. This is the prison they're keeping you trapped in. They don't want you to have an outer body consciously. They don't want you to know every night that you fall asleep, you're actually having an outer body experience. I fall asleep consciously and I came out of my body. I go into a void. Whenever you fall asleep, do you know that you can fall asleep consciously? If you monitor a light that is here, you can fall asleep consciously. Yeah, but you might find yourself outside your body. If you're fearful, you damage yourself. Do you know that fear goes with you into the spirit wall, into the non-physical wall? Whichever fear you have in your consciousness, you carry it there. Fear will go with you anywhere you go. People normally leave this country, they go to America, they go to Canada, they go to England, they go to Europe, they go all over the world, different places, seeking to better their life. Yet they still carrying around the fear, they still carrying around all the trauma that been passed down to them from generation to generation. All they doing is changing location. That's all, just changing location. Excuse me. Yeah, I gotta get that little mucus out there. Okay. All it's doing is getting to change location and keep you busy. But to live by faith is to practice visualization, to practice daily meditation, daily affirmation, and do all your rituals and your craft. Do you know you're supposed to practice your craft every day as a magician? Your magical craft? You know you're supposed to practice every day? Do you know that when you look at a game, whether it's soccer, cricket, you know, any kind of game, you look at it, you see its rituals that's taking place. And religious people, they partake in all of these different things. And when you start to practice certain rituals that help you to discover yourself, and for you to know that they're using fear to control you, and they're using religion, especially secular Christianity and so on, they will go against you. They tell you have the devil. They tell you smoke weed. They'll tell you all of these different things. Yet they in the games. They spend hours watching the games. They spend hours looking at series on Netflix. These same people. Yet they will tell you they're in the world, but they're not of the world. We are the ones who know that we are in the world, but we are not of the world. That is why we are using our mind power to cultivate whatsoever we desire in this physical three-dimensional world, just to have fun with it. And then we know we're going to leave it because we know that we're more than that. So that's why we feel free to change our reality to whichever way we want it to be by going in mentally and spiritually. And we know how to transmute the energy through our psyche to give us the results that we call reality. Man, that's such a mouthful. I just give you the man, the key. So we live in by faith. So you can't live by faith and have fear controlling you. Let me put it that way, because you will have fear but not controlling you. Okay, you balance. Okay, shower, passy. Jah will come and help. Yeah, they believe someone will come and help. Somebody asks, what about a wet dream? You see, the way your body been built, you can't have all of that built in and you don't release it. Just to show you in general, okay, you have to always release. There must all be it must be a release. Okay, you can't have things just building up, and you don't release. Okay, love, yes. Have faith in the unseen. Your mind, yes. Bumbo clat. We are our God from inside. Yeah. You see, we are God just having a human experience, but they use fear to make you believe that you are human and you must try to be spiritual. You must try to be God. Try to be like God when you are actually God. They tell you, try to be like Jesus when you are actually Jesus the Christ. You're the one who will come to self-realization. You're the one who will have the virgin birth. Do you know I've written a book called The Secret Vagina and Mystery of the Virgin Birth? Because I experienced the virgin birth. So who could fool me? No one could fool you when you experience the virgin birth. The birth from the skull. And you know this is Golgotha. Eh? Who could fool you when you know that? By experience. That's why I have a lecture on Amazon Prime called The Secret Vagina too. Mystery of the Virgin Birth. Where I show you a certain scripture in the Bible tell you a man pulling himself out of himself. He show you the secret of a man pulling himself out of himself. I pull the rest of myself out of my head. I became one with the wind. That's why I tell you, consciousness is the only reality. You check any man, any part of the world who claim to be a self-realized person, and you will see. They have to experience themselves as consciousness. One time I saw they show you a bunch of men who reach self-realization, men who became enlightened. You know, they didn't have no black man there. I think they should do that over and put somebody like myself there. Some people will say, oh, ego. That is ego. They normally wait until you die to say you was a legend. No, me waiting for that. When you read about Jesus Christ, they say Jesus Christ, I am the Father one. He says, see Father, see me. They say, oh, crucify ye, blaspheme me. Same thing happening all over. Because why? It's a consciousness that normally comes upon a person. And it doesn't matter what is the complexion. It doesn't matter where he come from. Once that consciousness take a body, that consciousness will live in that body until it's ready to leave that body. That Christ consciousness. Yeah, and that person or that body would experience the Christ oil. They will understand the magic lamp. They will understand Moses' rod. They will understand Solomon temple. They will understand these things. They will understand alchemy, all these things, because all of that come in the experience. So someone will listen to him and think he's speaking from intellect. No, this man is speaking from intellect. That's why they say he teaches as one with authority, not like the scribes and Pharisees, okay? So someone said there is a lot of corruption in current organized religion. You can't change that. It will all be so. Stop watching religion, because you might become religious while being thinking that you're spiritual. Because if you're just talking and ain't doing nothing, it wouldn't make sense. So you got to do, my brother, sister, okay, Kiara. You have to do. This is a doing thing. Why I'm teaching it is a doing thing. Okay? Organized religion, and it isn't how it was supposed to be. That is exactly how it's supposed to be. Because they start from corruption to begin with. If a woman tell you a lie or a man tell you a lie, you have to always be telling a lie to cover up the lie. Okay? There is not one thing from the Bible that if you don't apply to your life will significantly, maybe, I don't know what the next was going to say there, okay? But to say that religion was not supposed to be corrupted, that's a lie. That's an understatement, okay? Because that's how it started. You have to see how everything starts, okay? Improve. Was improved. It's not going to be significantly improved, okay? You see, when you understand the subconscious and how the subconscious mind works, the reason why a religious person can end up seeing certain results is because you understand how it is. The subconscious mind is impartial. Whatever you impress on the subconscious mind with certain feeling and emotion. And sometimes we get so wrapped up in our feeling and emotion when we have religious mentality and so on. And when people gather in the social clubs and so on, and they exchange energy and so on, they don't know, and they're doing it unconsciously. They're going to get certain results. So people looking at those results, but those results always can't keep you limited until you know exactly who you are and you know that you are the power and there's no outside power. Someone say peace and love, MadGuru. Peace and love to you too. Let's see. Yeah, welcome back. Can you shout me out? Okay, Fraggle. Can you shout me out? It's my birthday. Well, this person, Raggle Shaggle, shout out to you. This is your Earth Day. This is the day when you came forth to have this human experience. That's what they have your Exodus. My name is Sukamadek. Okay. It was a day like today that person transcend from one dimension and come into this dimension to have this human experience. Okay. Some people call it the birthday. Okay. And so some people think they've been birthed into this world. And when they die, they really die. The way how people see death. But you just transcend. Okay, life can't really die. Okay, but life can be transmuted in many different forms. Okay? But who do you think give that sentient you only grow and get better from going through tough times? If every day is good, then that isn't a choice, is it? Thank you very much, Kira. Because, as I was saying, when you become religious and superstitious, it's because you want to be good. So that you being going to one extreme. And for you to say that you want to be good, that's being delusional. Because you have to have both positive and negative thoughts every day of your life. And you have to learn to accept yourself just as you are. And love yourself. Having both positive and negative thoughts. Understanding God and the devil. You. No one else. And then when you realize there's no one to blame and there's no one to change, fear can't control you. Fear could never control you when you realize that you are the cause of everything in your life. Can you... Okay. A wolf doesn't care what a sheep thinks. Yeah. Because it's just the nature of the wolf. He doesn't care what the sheep thinks. Okay? And those who want to keep him fair, they don't care. They're playing their part. You better play your part. Okay? Someone said this book is in code. And that's the Bible they're talking about. Okay? It is encoded and it must be decoded. Okay? Unless you are decoded, you'll never understand it. That's why they could use fear to control you. Use that book and use fear to control you. Okay? Do you read the comment? Okay, well, as you can see, I'm reading the comments. Someone say you left government job. Yeah. I was working at the post. I leave the government job since 2008. Okay, and then from there on, I started doing things for myself. Start with fitness and everything. Turn in. Not bad, man. You forget. Brother man can't live without pom pom here in Jamaica. Tacos are better than... Someone said tacos are better than post office. Hello from Australia. Wagwan. Okay. It's all big over there like us Aussies are told. Over here, hub, because of the volcanic soil, we have volcanic soil and so on, right? The hub is very, very, very good. It's very strong, you know, and so on because of the volcanic soil. Okay, one of the best in the world. And it could definitely use in this country in a big way to generate millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, billions of dollars in this country. It definitely can be done. Okay. You can compete against a good cheeseburger. We woke up the morning, have the best day. You can have tomorrow's not promise to no one. Thank you. One love. Yeah, you got to live every day as if it's the last day. And the best way you can do that is learning to accept yourself and believe in yourself. Learn to embrace yourself. So you have to lead by love, not by fear. Okay, and as I stated earlier, on, all of these religious bodies, they're here and they're being very successful because they're using fear. And fear is what controls the masses, okay? No one has seen the wall, guys. It's all a lie. Because the wall isn't within you, okay? It's downloaded within you, okay? Everything you see on the outside, it is within. Tell us more about the soul, okay? That might be another video all by itself, talking about the soul, okay? Because the soul is just as you have the solar system, you have a solar system. If you look at the solar system, as a matter of fact, I have a course called the Inner Sun Science and Technology to Create Your Reality Consciousness. I will definitely recommend that. because this one say, I believe in the sunrise. You, if you think deeply, you realize the sun, as in the S-UN, it parallels the human imagination. And the human imagination also parallels the sun. You see, without the sun, there's no life and there's no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. Okay, so I definitely encourage you to check out that course I have. It's on my page, and so people who normally donate $20 or more. So you can check it out. Someone says, yeah, people are always judging. Yeah, people always judge. Okay, because you'll always have the polar opposite. Okay, so if someone do not understand where you're coming from, they will judge you because people are afraid of the unknown. Okay, as Alison though from England. Okay, for you shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Thank you, brother. One love. Yeah. Whenever you know the truth, because you can only know the truth by experience. Okay. That's all. Not by going to church. It's only by experience. You shall know the truth. Okay. And the truth is in you. You'll find the truth to be in you. The words of God can only judge me, makes you think it's going to be you and someone else. The word of God is your word and my word. Okay. Whenever someone said the Bible is the word of God, yes, it's the word of man. The word of man is the word of God. Do you realize that the mouth of God is the mind of man, and the mind of man is the word of God? You understand? So I never separate myself from God. You'll never hear me say that the Bible is not the word of God because it's the word of man. You understand? Every book in this world, it has to first be a thought, it has to first be an idea, it has to first be imagined. There's no book in this world that has been written that is not the word of God. Every book is the word of God. So you can't read no book and it's not the word of God. Even if you read a beeline classic, it's the word of God. You read a late night library, it's the word of God. These are like pornography books, without pictures, but you're reading them. Remember when I was a boy growing up, I read books like that already. And you can read all the novel. It's still the word of God. You ride a vehicle. That's the invention of God. You use money. That's the invention of God. You use the internet. That's the invention of God. You use a cell phone. That's the invention of God. Who think invented it? God. We think it is. You can't separate God from man. And man from God, because God just represents the intelligence that's speaking to you right now. Break this. I want to break the melanin cycles. The wall is in your head, guy. Yes, everything is within. Truth be told, when I was a youth, I did get a good news Bible with my name. The good news is what you tell yourself about yourself. If you tell yourself good things about yourself, when you speak to yourself, there's a book called What Do You Say to Yourself When You're With Yourself? When you realize that you are the one who always speaking to yourself, you know when you pray, you're praying to yourself. When you praise in, it's yourself. People go in church clapping and singing, you're singing to yourself. You're praying to yourself, you're begging and besieging your own self. That's why many times people end up being frustrated and confused because you're damaging yourself. I'm low on melanin in my human experience. You could be low in melanin in your human experience, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be low in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay? It's all about the mind. It doesn't have to do with complexion or anything like that. Okay? It's all about the mind. Religion and politics, they work together. Okay? And they out to keep you in fair. Someone say, "Oh, you black?" My friend, that is a, I don't know, Pete Olsen. I don't understand that. You need, okay. Someone speak about mushroom here. I've never had any experience with mushroom or any psychedelic. Okay. What happened to me naturally. Okay. Those who do not think that tell I no, I think they try to put religion controls through fear. Should wonder when and why was hell created. Yeah. So those who do not believe that religion and so on, okay, that they control through fear, they should ask themselves where hell came from, when and why was hell created. Okay? Because everything that's been created is creating it in your consciousness. That's why people will get dreams and they will dream about hell and they will dream about heaven, because why? It's in their consciousness. Everything exists in your consciousness. As someone said, no women have kittens. Women have what? Children. Because why? Every seed, every species must and will always reproduce of its own kind. But the only people I see in this world that cannot reproduce of their own kind are the religious people. They can't reproduce the life of Jesus that they're claiming. So it's a lie. It's simple as that. Women not bought in monkeys, okay? They're bought in children. But monkeys will bring forth other monkeys. So it's a simple law and people don't understand it. So if you are bringing forth the life of Jesus Christ, you're not turning water into wine. You're not feeding 5,000 people and 7,000 people with bread and fish. Literally speaking. Then it have to have an interpretation. Well, I'm saying metaphysically and esoterically speaking, psychologically speaking. If you understand your conscious and your subconscious mind, those two, and then you understand your 5 senses, and you know how to use the conscious subconscious mind to activate your thoughts and your actions in life, then you'll have a better understanding. You see how much people's life that you can impact. So every time I am being truthful and helpful to others, I see myself being Christ in flesh. I see the word manifest in flesh. By what? My action. And action will always speak louder than words. I look at the preachers and the action. I see they want private jet. They want to live certain kind of life on this planet that exemplify materialism. And that speaks for itself. Is this one of those animated? I'm not even gonna read some of these things here. Someone say, and tomorrow and today, I'm still waiting. There's only now. Don't say that I left. Someone said I have superpowers. Yes, every one of us have superpowers. Once you have a mind, you have a superpower. Okay, but you have to realize that fear can cripple your superpower. Look at any movie and you will see that it just displaying what always takes place in life. You always have the star, you have the crook. You always have good, you always have evil, because there's no other part to play. And you're either on the side of the good or the side of the evil. There's no other part to play. It's just polarity. Everything is a game. Pray for the Lord will to be true in your spirit and mind. Pray to be renewed by those voices. Walk after the spirit of grace that denies ungodliness. A lot of people normally say Lord and fail to realize that they're speaking about themselves and they're speaking to themselves. A lot of people normally use the word spirit and fail to realize that they are a spirit. A lot of people use the word prayer, and they fail to realize that prayer is desire and meditation. You are always praying every single moment of your life. And you could only be renewed in your mind because everything is taking place in your mind. You could only be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You do not have to be religious to do that. But they can use the fear that religion holds to keep you a certain state, in a certain state of mind. Basic psychology, religious people saying God says this and that. Yeah, Muslim says this is what God or Allah says you should do, when all it is me controlling people who doesn't think. Nice one, man. Thank you very much. Okay. So people who don't think, they'll all be easily controlled. So just use the fear God. Use the fear of the unknown. Okay, so they always say, you know, Allah say this, or God say this, when basically it's all your mind. A lot of people normally say, especially preachers, oh, the Lord told me. Your intuition speak to you. And everybody have an intuition. They are pride of religion missionary now. Harvesting genetic material is what I heard. I'm learning as I'm older, 33, that society has a big pull when it comes to a moral compass, whether or not they know it can be a part of control. Yeah, more. You see, morality has been something that used to really control you, because when you try to be moral, you're pulling yourself into one extreme. Okay, but when you learn to be neutral in terms of understanding balance, understanding laws that governs all of humanity, laws that governs the universe, understanding the law of polarity, understanding the law of gender, and understanding the law of correspondence, understanding the law of rhythm, understand anything that goes so, it must come back so and so on. Understand as above, so below, as it is within, so is it without. When you understand these things, it will definitely help you to know that everything is taking place in your mind, and you have to be in control of your mind, okay? I love God, but not the man, the man, God, and its subjection, which cause a lot of torment. Okay? So for me to love God is for me to love myself. For me to believe in God is for me to believe in myself. For me to trust God is for me to trust myself. Okay? Because there's the higher self and the lower self. The higher self of me is my God self, and the lower self of me is what I refer to as the devil. Okay? I heard my neighbors used to skinny dip in 1980. I used to think, why was BlackMadGuru so happy? Then I decoded the Bible and again realized, yes, you must, when you realize, okay, really and truly, how the mind really works, and you realize death is not real, especially through experience, you're the happiest man on this planet. It doesn't matter whether you have money or you don't have money. You'll always be happy, and you will always attracting in your life. Doesn't matter how big or how small. Okay? You don't really so much need or depend or have to depend on the system for happiness. Okay? Because happiness starts from within. So once you're happy on the inside, and you can impress your subconscious mind with that happiness, that joy, that peace, that thanksgiving, in other words, that gratitude. Once you can live in an attitude of gratitude, that will determine your altitude. Don't make them fool you. Okay? How high you will go. It's the universal law of sowing and reaping. Yes, it is the universal law of sowing and reaping. Would you say then you make these entities from the most extreme to the minimum? I don't quite understand that though. Let me see. Entities from the most extreme to the minimum. I don't quite get that one. These convos are and of history, they are good. Thank you very much. Yes, very good to have this kind of conversation. American evangelism in Africa. Yes, that's something that was used to control Africa up to this day. Because USA for Africa, United States of Africa, yes, devil is simply a deceiver that can be anyone, and we have had many deceivers. You see, you have to understand that everything you said there is actually your words. It's your consciousness. It's your thoughts. I can have a thought for you. You can have a thought for me. So you can project your thought to someone else, anyone else for that matter, outside of yourself. So there's no devil but yourself. There's no deceiver but yourself. So people have been made to deceive themselves through fear. They use fear for you to deceive yourself. They use fear for you to lie to yourself. Okay? My brother says you are not in a wall. Most people think they are in the wall, but the wall is in you. Okay? And it's been projected on the outside. Someone said to teach. Thank you very much. Always great listening. Thank you very much for listening. 3 days decision. Someone mentioned to eat fruits and vegetables. Very good for your body. Okay, someone says he does not do it for money, guys, unlike all the others. Yeah, when I started YouTube, I didn't even know you could do make any form of money on YouTube. And it really helped me a lot. I'm glad I started that way. I'll be honest, 100% honest with you. If I had started YouTube to earn money or to get money, I am telling you, I would not last this long with all those low views, knowing that my videos are good, knowing, for example, just recently people was reaching out to me and telling me they have on their notification and then I've been notified when I post videos on YouTube. Okay, and I could go into a whole long story and show people what is going on, but I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so sometimes people could they could subscribe, have on the notification, but if certain things been done by YouTube itself, you're not gonna get my video, you're not gonna see it. Okay, but even something like that does not deter me. Okay, so as I said before, had I known before what YouTube was all about and I was doing it to make money, trust me, I would have a lot of let me say worries and problems over the years, because I'm telling you, to be so consistent and be going for so long, okay, it's not something that's so easy. Sometimes you see other people just come and they have so much and so much. I remember a guy, and I can name many different people. I've seen the same pattern happen with them. They skyrocketing views, and they said something wrong, and they come all the way back down. And they try to reclaim and get their YouTube channel going again, and they never get their YouTube channel going again. You understand? It's other guy that's called Young Pharaoh. He was one of them. It's other guy named Eat Faster, eBay, and many more. So sometimes you see people, they just go on YouTube and so on. And sometimes you check their message and so on. You could see the holes in them and so on. Okay, you could see the compromising. You could see all of these things because they're doing it for a buck. Okay. So I was never motivated, by money or anything, because I didn't know. And I'm so grateful for that. Okay. Someone said you are in the light. Thank you very much. Okay. And you have to be in the light to recognize that I'm in the light. Someone said again here, you speak the truth. Okay. And then you have to be in the truth to know that I am speaking the truth. Okay. Golden Star of the Sky, consort of Isis. Okay. And those who know the story of Isis and Horus and so on, okay, you know why this person, take on this kind of name. Man, know thyself. That's what the message really all about, is knowing yourself, okay? But you can't know yourself if you ain't love yourself and believe in yourself, if you ain't embrace yourself. Someone say, I love your channel. Okay. Like for example, I'm doing this live and you can see the amount of people who are showing their interest in things like this. Okay. But when a video been posted out, you can see, what is happening. Okay. But you think I'm going to fret and I'm going to worry myself? No. Okay. As a matter of fact, when I look at my YouTube channel, I see every amount of views I get, I put a K next to it. I'm seeing that. So if my thing say 221 views, that 221K views for me. That's how I see it, and I'm happy about that, and I leave that right there. If it say just 10 views, I put a K there. I get 10K views. Thank you very much. And I feel good. Someone say, yes, I go to Nigeria. Great point. I can see two sparks in your eyes. Okay, Grand Rising. Love you all. What about, someone say, what about Jesus? The most I can tell you that there was never a historical figure named Jesus that walked this earth with special powers that could save humanity. No, there is a power in you. So you are taking a personification for a person. Okay, and the only reason why I can tell you so is because when you become that person, then you know that the power is always here. That Christ power, that Christ consciousness. When you realize all is mine, okay, let's say, like, okay, for example, the Bible states that let this mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus. Didn't it tell you that? So, it's telling you he had a mind. You can have a mind if you're not a man. And you can have a man if you're not, you can't be a man if you're not God asleep. And you can't be God if you're not man awake. That's Jesus right there. Hello, Fred. How are you? I am good. Greetings from Argentina. Greetings to you. Peace and love. Respect to all those who tune in from Argentina. Light is just the truth. The lamb to see beyond the fear. Yes. Okay. This is to go beyond the fear. Okay. And fear is needed to help us to grow and to expand and so on. So when things happen in our life that will cause us to be fearful, it's just for us to know that it's always there. Okay, someone said, I like your channel. Thank you very much. Beyond the darkness, yeah. You have to learn to go beyond the darkness, which is learning to appreciate the unknown, okay? Big up from Sweden. Big up to you too. Notice that those who attack the messenger never attack the message. No, they will never be able to attack the message. They only could attack the messenger. Thank you very much for stating that. No fear when no fear was. Okay. You have the coolest accent. Thank you very much. I'm from New Zealand. Greetings to you. Nice having people from New Zealand. Botswana. It's great to have one tuning from Botswana. Okay, so you see people all over the world is recognizing that fear is what they use all around the world to control the masses. But there are those who are willing to vibrate outside of the fear by understanding that fear will always be a part of your existence. Okay, so there have to be love and fear, and you have to balance. You have to have a balance in life. Never go to any extreme. You are illuminating. Of course, when you have an illuminating experience and you do not keep it to yourself and you share it to the rest of the world, they will see you illuminating, okay? What do you think about that train killer? Yeah, I saw the video of that train killer, and the first thing that came to my mind is that melanated people do not act like that. We are not that violent a people. He being a criminal and had over 18 charges before. He was a troublemaker. Something was wrong with his mind. He could be an experiment. Okay, it could be someone they experiment upon to do that and to act like that. Okay, because he should have been incarcerated or been put in some place and not let out to be, in society. Okay, because if he's mentally sick, okay, he should be kept in a certain place, because it's only someone who's mentally sick that would do something like that, and it's not a common thing for any melanated person to do. Okay, again, I think the people who were there should have offered some sort of help, but they didn't, and so on. Some people tried to say it was racially motivated, but if he was in his right mind, then you can say that. But this was someone who was suffering. Okay. Why I dwell with Free Mother Africa Force. To free Mother Africa is to free the mind of the people. Okay, and you can't free the mind of people because you people could hate you and want to destroy you just for telling them the truth. Okay, free your mind. Okay, as what someone says, you gotta free your mind. Yes, General. Much love from the UK. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all from UK too. Someone said Jesus is the way and the life. That is true, because Jesus is the one speaking to you right now. Okay. Jesus is always represent your imagination, your consciousness, your awareness. Okay, that's why you must never argue with religious people. Okay, you are Jesus when you are weak. You are Christ when you are weak. You are God when you are weak. But right now you are man, because you're God asleep. Okay, where you go when you come outside of your body. When you come outside of your body, you go wherever you desire to go. Okay, that's why you just get dreams, and your dreams just take you all different places. Okay, and the people who like to tell you what will happen to you after death, none of them have ever had that experience, so they are false witnesses. All religion is built on you being a false witness, you being a liar. All religion, you have to lie to yourself. I came out of my body before. Many people had many out-of-body experience, okay? But they are out-of-body experiences that only few people would have on this planet, because of the work they were called to do on this planet. Like if you're a mystic and so on, you know what I mean? There's some people who would have experiences that others people, won't have in a lifetime. They might have it in another lifetime, okay? Jesus doesn't like it when you spit on the floor. The person who made this statement didn't know that it is stated in the Bible that Jesus spit on the ground and take it and cleanse a man's eye. How is it no religious person could do the same thing? All these things are symbolic. Okay, the connection couldn't have been broke. Which body? Thank you for this. Oh, look, someone else don't make the statement I make when he's spitting on the ground and cleanse a man's eye. Peace, love, and respect for all good people. Thank you very much for commenting and being a part of the live. It's a great lecture. Get it if you can. Okay. One love, brother, man. One love to you too, Chicago, Black Bulls. A lie begets another. Yes, you have to tell one lie to cover another lie. Okay. Whoever interested will listen. Keep preaching. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, but definitely gonna come to close in a while. Okay, it's about 11 minutes. In 11 minutes time will be 2 hours. I don't want to go beyond that. Actually, I wanted was to do it in an hour and a half, but I definitely have to read people's comment. Religion is designed maneuvered and manipulated to tighten its grip on the minds of the masses. Yes, but it's through fear. They do it through fear. Okay, I just miss a lot of words. Okay, after the hours. Peace, brother. Peace be to you. Hello, brother. That gratitude altitude line was a bar. I'm writing that down. How do you feel about where people are at currently? Are they waking up or dulling down? While some is waking up, some is dulling down. Okay, it's always polarity. It's always the polarity. Always. The more people awake is the more people will have going to the mental asylum. It's always that way. It don't change. Okay, the great awakening is here. So the great awakening is here. It's a great awakening. It doesn't mean it's gonna be in numbers. Oh, it just means that people are gonna go to a higher place of consciousness. Okay. Someone is saying 34K views. Okay, I accept it and I believe it. Top of the afternoon. Nice having you. What's your view on the ancient portrait of the Black Christ putting broad out of the vault that were hidden for ages? Putin was just playing a game, okay? Because Christ is not a physical being in its true essence. Christ is a state of consciousness, a place of awareness. It's an energy that is here, okay? And you have to vibrate to a certain place to be overshadowed. Let me use that word, to be overshadowed by that consciousness. Okay? So it doesn't just happen to any person. Right now, I'm a black man. I am self-realized. I am Christ conscious. I had the experience. I had the birth from the skull. I experienced myself as pure consciousness. I know everything that the Bible has there. They could go back to all of these different stories with Isis and Horus, and it's been taught in all different cultures and so on. Okay, it doesn't equate to a man, a special, unique man. Okay. Like for example, if Putin could present a picture, then someone could take a picture of me, and 100 years from now they could still have that picture and show this man. I knew this man, and they could pass it down from generation to generation and say, this man, I know this man, I used to listen to this man. This is a man who experienced himself in his Christ consciousness. This is a man who experienced himself in his Christ and kingly character. Yeah. Someone asking a question. I don't know who they're asking this question. They're asking someone, why are you gay? But I can answer that question, why people are gay. Okay? When you understand the law of polarity, okay, you can have straight without you have gay. It's as simple as that. Okay? And the gay person is a reflection of you. It's just another version of you. If you think and act and believe a certain way, that's just another version of you. Okay, I think this may be the last comment. Okay, I'm definitely gonna come to close. Why should he not? Any person who, I don't know who they're talking about here, but the person say, why should he not be gay? Gay means happy. Therefore, all of us who are happy to share his awakening is gay. You see, like for example, as I'm coming to a close here, a lot of people especially people in the Caribbean and so on, right? They fail to realize that there's an agenda, okay, that's been used as a weapon against them to shift them away from changing themselves while they focus on changing others and changing the system. You can't change the system. You can't change nothing in this world. You can't. There will always be the gay people. There will always be the straight people. There will be always be the same the kind of people that is here will continue to be here. It's not gonna change. You're gonna have the people who are gonna awake, and you're gonna have the people who are gonna sleep. Life is based on sleeping and awaking every day. You sleep in the night and you awake in the day. So too is life. It can't change. Okay, so you just have to live with it and learn to become the best version of yourself. And to do that, you have to learn to destroy fear. And to destroy fear, the easiest way to destroy fear, get rid of all religious, superstitious belief out of your life and learn to love yourself, believe in yourself, and embrace yourself. Okay? So, my brother, my sister, before I end this video, I want to encourage you to check out my books. Okay? Your support is very much needed. So you can check out my books. They are available on Amazon. You have more than 10 books to choose from. You have the Secret Vagina, Mystery of the Virgin Birth, How to Turn Water into Wine, Your Mood is Your Fortune, Spiritual Recipe for Better Living, Can't Be Proven Wrong by Any Christian, and many more books, okay, along with my gratitude journal for him, gratitude journal for her, and they all start with the affirmation, I am so happy and grateful now, and you just add the rest to it. So you can check that out. Also, if you want to become a part of my university, Free Thinkers and Seekers University, I'm trying my best every week to make sure I upload like a masterclass every week. Okay, I'm going to make sure I continue to do it and never stop. Just be making, maybe 20, 30 minutes. It could even be 15 minutes videos for people in the university, going to some more deeper teachings with them and so on, to help them on the spiritual journey. So you can become a part of my university also. Okay, so whatsoever you desire, if you check out the links that are down below, okay, and let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do, I will definitely appreciate that, okay? So I definitely encourage you to do that. Let me just read this last comment where this person is saying, this Alex is saying, Christ is a force. Yeah, it's a state of enlightenment that is like a death and rebirth and finding a higher compassion that transcends romantic love and egoic desires and awareness that we are all connected. That is so true. Okay, everything he says there is definitely the truth. That is what the experience really, really entails. Okay, and in my book, The Secret Vagina Mystery of the Virgin Birth, I think I go more into detail and so on of my own experience. So everything I speak to is from experience. Okay, I will never lie to you. That is why there's no amount of money that I could make on YouTube that can enable me to change my teaching for me to ever lie to you. From the very moment I started doing YouTube, I've never lied to you because I've started because of the experience. It's the most unique and powerful experience I've ever had in my entire life. And I said to myself, I can't keep this to myself. I have to definitely share it. Then I started to find content on YouTube that was conforming my experience. And so I started to check everything. And I find, even the people who do motivational speaking, the people who do personal development, all of these different people, they just create like a character and they come up with their own formula of spreading the same truth without offending people and mashing cans and so on. But it's the same thing basically they're trying to tell you. It's just that I was raised in a background of Christianity, okay, because that's how we were raised in the Caribbean, okay, because the religious and school system mixed together, okay, so that's all most people grow up knowing, unless they read other books and so on, which they hardly get to read and so on, because they've been kept so busy. Okay, so it was through that experience that I decided I'm going to share this for the rest of my life. Okay, because it's what made everything to me. From a very young age, I asked myself, who am I and who's God? And that's where the search began. Okay, and here am I sharing with you. Thank you a million for sharing your light with us. Thank you very much, too. You're welcome. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? I believe in Jesus Christ as a state of awareness, a state of consciousness, which I experience myself. So it's not really a belief, it's a knowing. I know Jesus Christ to be my awakened self. That's it. So I am Jesus Christ standing right before you right now. Okay? So if you want to believe in a blonde hair, blue eye idol of 2,000 years ago, go ahead and believe that. It's your prerogative. Okay? Give thanks for the help to open the third eye of a few. Many are called, few are chosen. That's true. El Shaddai. Okay? Some people say blasphemous. Okay? But you can't help. That is how it will always be. You read about... Do you realize the same Jesus that people say they believe in, the things that he say, he was called blasphemous? So this, where people can't say blasphemous. Thank you very much for the confirmation. Okay, but definitely gonna come to a close here. So I want to thank you all very much, and I will definitely encourage you to tune in next week and to share this video, share all of my work, and continue on your spiritual journey. So with that being said, I just want to say peace, love you all.